A signal of deterrence or an act that could embolden Beijing? Debates are surfacing over whether the U.S.'s daring capture of Nicolás Maduro sets an example for China, suggesting it could capture Taiwan's president in a similar way. NTD's Juliet Song has the story.
A swift capture of a sitting leader in the dead of night. The U.S. military's operation to capture Venezuelan leader Nicolás Maduro over the weekend has sent shockwaves worldwide. Now, opinions are divided on whether the Chinese Communist Party will pull similar tactics on Taiwan's president Lai Ching-te. Chinг-Yואan, a China affairs analyst, says Beijing does not have such capability. He noted that infighting within China's military remains intense. A little over 2 months ago, the Chinese regime ousted 9 top generals, including the country's number 2 military officer and the former head of the theater command facing Taiwan.
The regime has already removed a good number of its own generals even before a war over Taiwan has begun.
Retired U.S. Marine Colonel Grant Newsham says China has been preparing for a similar operation for years.
They have just identical mock-ups of the Taiwanese government buildings, the presidential palace, out in the desert, and their special forces train constantly for such an assault, the so-called decapitation strike.
Despite Beijing's preparations, Newsham believes China's intelligence isn't as strong as it thinks. Hours before being captured, Maduro met with China's special envoy for Latin America.
If they sent their top delegate to Venezuela, and that the next day the Americans grab Maduro, and apparently the Chinese didn't know about it. You think if they did, they'd have told Maduro what was coming.
Tang says China doesn't have the ability to cripple Taiwan's air defense network like the U.S. military did to Venezuela. It's a key step in the operation before U.S. Special Forces reached the building where Maduro lived.
As the force began to approach Caracas, the Joint Air Component began dismantling and disabling the air defense systems in Venezuela, employing weapons to ensure the safe passage of the helicopters into the target area.
Chinг-Yואan says the seizure of Maduro sent a strong signal of deterrence to Beijing. The U.S. accuses Maduro of importing thousands of tons of cocaine into America.
Trump is signaling that if a country threatens U.S. national interests in any way, Washington will not stand idly by.
Tang added that the regime change in Venezuela is a blow to the CCP. He said the country is like a nail Beijing installed in America's backyard to distract the U.S., keeping it from focusing on the threat posed by the CCP. Juliet Song, NTD News.